Good afternoon everybody, it's Graham from Unearthed, and this is the next episode of our Detecting Finds film. Now, since the last one I did on Roman coins a few days back, I've been inundated with messages asking about doing finds from sort of Georgian Victorian period. I think a lot of people are thinking, well, yeah, it's great to show these Roman coins and Roman artifacts, but let's have it real and show some of the everyday artifacts that people find, which is a fair point. Now, when I first started detecting many moons ago, the main items, artifacts that I found were from the Georgian Victorian period with a smattering of maybe Tudor and earlier artifacts and coins mixed in. So this video today is going to show people what you can find out in the field from the Georgian Victorian period and possibly slightly later. Now, first off is these wonderful brooches. Now, I found quite a lot of brooches over the years. This is just a small selection of them. This one in particular is interesting. It's Victorian. It's of an axe, as you can see, almost like a giant battle axe, I guess. That would have had paste in the axe head, would have had colour. That's sadly gone. But what was interesting about this was the pin was still remaining, as you can see, the silver pin. So I was rather lucky to find that, and it still works. So that's one, slightly damaged in the middle, but a beautiful artifact nevertheless. Now, these are quite, I'm not going to say the common finds, but you can find these round villages. All these silver brooches were found round villages that have grown considerably in the Victorian times. So if you can locate the fields nearer the villages where the people had maybe shows, fairs, agricultural shows and things like that, then you will find these sort of things. These are all Cumbrian finds. This one in particular is quite an attractive brooch. It's got, if I can hold it properly, it's actually got a bird in the middle, you can see, which is really pretty brooch. I mean, again, Victorian. The Victorians really did some nice pieces, didn't they? I mean, look at that. The workmanship that's got into that is pretty remarkable. And of course, then there's different types of brooches. This one was minus its pin, and I got it restored with a pin on it. Coloured glass of reds, blues, greens in there. Still nice though. Still a nice find. So you can find these. These are out there. I found many, like I said, I found many brooches. I found quite a few of these. This is just a small selection of the brooches I've found. That's actually a local find to where I'm sat now, probably about 200 yards away on the fields. And that's got baby wrote on it. So it's a little baby brooch, probably from a christening or something, I guess. Minus its pin, and you can see in the middle there, it's got the words silver. So that's an interesting little find. They come up quite often. Another one here, a little trinket. It's obviously been attached to something. That's rather attractive scroll work on the back. Again, silver, but on the front, it's slightly different. As you can see, it's been attached to something at the top. You guys may know better than me what it is. So if anybody can give me some idea of what it's been in the past, then drop me a message, or you can comment on the YouTube thread. So that's a rather interesting find. So there's finds here from, you know, the Georgian Victorian period. When we mentioned Georgian, sorry about the shadow, folks, we find from time to time these little silver Georgian spoons, and you can see with this one, it's got the initials of somebody on it. Now, I don't think it's the maker. It could be the family that it was linked to. So there's a T, a B above in the bottom, a star in the middle, and an E. And again, this will be from Georgian period. Rather attractive spoon. Came up full off pasture. Again, from finds round farmers' fields where there is been a lot of activity in the Georgian Victorian periods. That's a rather attractive looking spoon. And again, this is one that I found was slightly bent. It did take a little bit of work to get it back to its former glory. I did it as best I could, and that's got WM as initials on the spoon handle. So Interesting finds. You will find these from time to time coming up. They are interesting finds. Sometimes you find them just the balls, or you find them just with the ends. The ploughs hit them, which is a real shame. But that gives you some idea of what you can turn up out there. And you know, it's remarkable when you think about it. There's a lot of silver in the ground, far more silver than gold. You know, you can see with these examples that I'm going to show you now of the thimbles that we find. These are from all ages, probably Georgian times through to Victorian, possibly Edwardian. If you look at this particular example, rather pretty. If you look at all the scroll work on there, really, really nice thimble. Again, off pasture here in Cumbria. This field, where this was found, the field, I actually found 3 silver thimbles, and I found this one as well in the same field, which is quite interesting. So there's that one, and again an earlier type thimble with loads of design on the bottom of there. As you can see, slightly squashed, unfortunately. The plough has done its best to squash that down. And I'm going to show you this one. This was actually found on ploughed land a couple of years ago, laying right on the top. How it's evaded the plough is beyond me, not to be crushed. It's a little bit dinted in places, but still a really nice find. And it's got some, if you can look round the rim of it at the bottom, it has actually got some design. I don't know if I can focus on that or not. But anyway, there it is. So yeah, really, really love silver thimbles. I find loads of them. Most of mine are squashed. Probably found about 30 of them over the years. And there's just a selection of fuller or full ones, which are rather attractive. Now, from time to time, you will come across things like this. A watch winder with a cross on its link. So that's sort of quite a common find out in the field. You'll find a lot of watch winders from the Georgian Victorian period, as you will buckles, our friends the buckles. You mean I can find anywhere up to 5 or 6 of these buckles a day, some with pins on, some with not. That's just one example with its pin off. Quite ornate, be Georgian in date. I don't collect them, I give them to the farmer, but they are quite nice to have. So a lot of people do collect them. And of course, things like these furniture mounts. There's a cherub there, or a mount of some description. You can see on the back it's got a lug there and a fixing. Slightly damaged with a hole in one of its wings, but still a nice little find. That's local to me, that came up. Again, probably Georgian in date. Chances are that could have been gilded at some point in the past. And then of course you find things like silver rings. This is a buckle ring, as you can see, really big chunky one, would have been a male's ring. One on the fingers of a decent sized fella, I guess. Quite attractive, Victorian in date. Quite like them. Sometimes you find them in gold if you're lucky. There's another one here, a slightly smaller one, nonetheless desirable. It's actually got more design on this one than the bigger one. So there you go, that gives you some idea of what can be found in the Victorian Georgian period. This time it's a little fob seal with a bird on, holding a branch. Rather attractive. That would have been gold gilded at some point, as you can see. Still some of the gold gilding remaining. And another one, this was my first one with a, if I remember, with a purple stone on it, yeah, and a flower. What it says round the legend though, I can't remember. I did find one of these earlier this year with Emma wrote on it, and I give it to the farmer because I think it might have been, who knows, it might have been linked to that particular farm. Somebody called Emma might have lived on there many moons ago. And that's got that. This one's got a purple stone in it. The one I give to the farmer had a black stone on. So there's 2 examples of seals that you can get. This is a particular interesting find, again from the Georgian period. I sent this off to the FLO many moons ago. I had an idea what it was. It was a shape for a dagger. The dagger point would have gone in there. And it actually got sent away to be drawn by a professional, believe it or not, into a pencil drawing into a... that went into a book. I think they got the period wrong, in my opinion. They had it down as medieval. There's no way, I don't think that is medieval. It's, I would say, Georgian, heavily gold gilded, but still a lovely find. You know, it's a shape, it's attractive, and it comes from that period. So there you go. That's another example of a find that you can make from this era. And again, this one is silver again. It's off something off a brooch possibly, or a purse, or something off a mount on the front, but rather nice to find them sort of things. So that gives you an idea of what can come up from the period of Victorian, Georgian era. I do apologise if I'm doing everything of sort of from the ancient times and you know, Roman coins and artifacts, but this gives you guys out there that are finding this sort of stuff, or want to find this sort of stuff, an idea of what's out in the field. So I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks very much for subscribing, and I am not actually 100% sure if these videos are actually doing any good for people. I do get quite a bit of feedback from time to time, but if you do think it's of use, I will continue to do them. If you think they're a load of rubbish, then let me know. I won't be hurt. Okay, thanks very much for watching, folks. Bye for now.